Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. So I finally bit the bullet and bought a SawStop. What I want to talk to you today about is the difference between this saw and the saw that I've had previously. What makes this saw safe? No saw is safe, but there are some things that make this saw a safer saw. There's really just a few elements. One is the stability of the saw. Is it going to move around? Now this one is on a rolling base, so it does have some wiggle, but it's all there. It's not going to move off of its base. Now this is the saw that I've had in the shop for a few months. I had sold my big saw and Pop brought this one over. I don't like this saw. For one, it is not stable at all. It takes just a little bit of force to move this saw out of its spot. That's not what you want when you're ripping down a full sheet of plywood. So stability is a big thing. The surface of the saw matters. So this one, come in here and look at this. When you're pushing your work product across here, you don't want it hanging up. They've engraved Craftsman in the top of this, and that's just another place for something to hang up. Now, if you go over here to the SawStop, this has a nice, smooth top, cast iron top. So your workpiece is going to glide across this. The other thing is power. There's no substitute for power. This has a little direct drive motor in it, and it will bog down on you. That's not what you want when you're cutting wood. This contractor version has a 1.75 horsepower motor, which is probably about as small as you want to go on a table saw, but it has enough power to do what I'm going to do. I'm not a furniture maker. I'm not a cabinet builder. I'm just a DIY guy, handyman. So this will be ample for me. The other thing is a fence. There's a big difference in these fences. One is just how they glide. See, this one will hang up on you. When you set it, the front and back of the fence are not always spot on. You can run into a situation where your fence is tighter on the back and you'll bind up. And that's not what you want. You want something that you can set on the numbers and know that's where it's going to be, both front and back. And that's what you get with this SawStop. This has the upgraded version of their fence. It glides really smooth and it is dead on. The front and back are exactly where they should be. Another big feature on these that I want to point out, and it's the on-off switch. Now this one here is little bitty, it's recessed, and it's hard to get to. You want one that you can hit with your knee. Man, if something starts going sideways on your table saw, you want to be able to get in here with your knee and just bump it. Just like that. You don't have to look for it. You just hit your knee and shut everything down. Every saw should have something like this, a big stop switch. Now, SawStop. There's a million videos on these about the technology in their drive unit. If it detects any kind of skin, this blade is going to lock up and stop. You might get a little nick on your finger, but this is the safest saw on the market, and that's one of the reasons I bought it. Now, these saws are expensive. The contractor version, brand new, you're going to spend probably $2,500 when it's all said and done. Now, I picked this one up used, and my wife's looking at me. We'll get to the cost here in a minute. A couple upgrades on this saw was the fence, and it also has the cast iron wings, the extensions. This is what it comes with, just standard, as these stamped steel plates. This one does have it. The benefit to those is it makes it lighter. This saw is made to be moved from one job site to another. But this one does have the cast iron wings on it. It's a pretty good size. This will definitely rip you know, a 4x8 sheet. It's a 44-inch cast top, and the max cut on it is 28 1/4. So plenty big for anything I'm going to do. Now, this saw over here, it'll rip a 4x8 sheet of plywood. You know, you can put these wings out, but man, they're not very stable. They move around, and I just wouldn't do it. I don't like for homeowners who haven't spent a lot of time on a table saw to have a saw like this. I just don't think that it's a good thing. I worked in a wood shop for years. I've got thousands of hours on a table saw. So I feel I don't like to rip things on this, but I can do it safely. But your average homeowner who doesn't have the experience, hasn't been trained on a table saw, it's just really, really dangerous. Um, so I hate to see these in homeowners' shops. But yeah, that's the SawStop. Now, it did come with the plates, and it also came with the stationary base. Uh, I kind of like the mobile base on here because, like I say, I'm not a cabinet builder or a furniture maker, so I don't always want this right in the center of my shop. Now that may change. Uh, I may put the base on it and set up an outfeed table and all that at some point. But right now, I like having the mobile base. I can move it out of the way when I'm not using it. Now, what did this cost? So this was listed on Marketplace for $1,200, which is actually not a bad buy for this saw. Like I say, they're around $2,500 to $2,700 with the upgrades. I was able to get this for $1,100, and he also threw in this 3 horsepower shop vac, which will be great because I can use that for dust collection on this saw. And he also threw in a couple of these magnetic feathering boards. So you just turn there and they lock down onto the table. So those are pretty neat. And we also got a couple blades. I'm not familiar with this brand. I don't know what they cost. Rigid makes pretty good stuff. You can use any kind of saw blade on here as long as it's a ferrous metal and the teeth are not coated. The electric signal has to be able to go through those teeth where your finger or hand or whatever touches it and feed into the system and tell the system to shut down. SawStop does sell their own blades. He also threw in this tile saw. It's a rigid tile saw, and it came with an extra blade. So all in all, I feel like I got a pretty good deal on it. Now this saw is going to need some attention before I use it. For one thing, the insert, come look at this. You can see the insert is cracked and it's warped up. So we're going to have to get a hold of SawStop and get a new one and replace that before we use it. Over here, this back rail, back up a little bit and you can kind of see it is, I don't know if it was dropped or what happened, but this is bent up. So I'm going to have to get this squared back up, put some pressure down on it, and hopefully we can get that resolved. If not, I can order a new piece for back here. The other thing that I noticed on here is in the power cord. There's some gouges in it. There's one here where you can actually see metal, and then there's another one back here which is, you can see that it's actually eaten through the insulation. So yeah, there's a few things that need to be addressed on this saw before we use it. But the top's in good shape. It's nice and smooth. It runs good. So yeah, happy to have a SawStop in the shop. Table saws are incredibly dangerous, even if you're have a lot of experience on them. Things can go sideways really quick, and knowing that at least the blade will shut down if it touches my hand or somebody else's hand. Guys, that's what I got for you today. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. As always, have a great day, and God bless.